Hi, it's Jessica with Jay-Z Knits, and I'm so excited to catch up with you all today. I have so much to share with you. So it's been about a month since my last regular podcast episode, and there has been so much that I have been knitting, making, wearing, some new acquisitions, a lot of things that I'm thinking about knitting, like organizing my yarn, so much. So let's just jump right into it. So January has been a really good month. I've had a lot of great time for knitting, and yeah, just really excited to share all of that with you. So the first thing I want to update you on is my newest finished object. And this is what I have been wearing pretty often in January. So when I last spoke to you, I think I had just casted it on. And this is my McKinney Raglan, and I really love, absolutely love the finished look of it. It fits exactly how I wanted. So let me tell you a little bit about it. So the McKinney Raglan is a pattern designed by McKinney Knittery, and which calls for like a heavy DK to light worsted yarn. And I use their Cascade Eco Merino, and I used 4 skeins of it, which was just enough for the sweater. So it's so great that I was able to buy the yarn and knit a sweater and kind of finish it up within a few weeks. And yeah, really love the finished look of it. So 4 skeins of this. I think, yeah, I did size 2, and I'll stand up and kind of show you the look of it. And yeah, the fit is so good. I love where the length is of the sleeves, the body length. I'll tell you a little bit about some of the modifications that I did. So I followed it mostly to pattern. I did double up on my neckband. And so initially I was thinking of making like a folded over collar, which I probably could still do, but once I doubled up on it and the length, I ended up really liking how long that looked, and I really like it. So I decided to keep it a little bit longer. And so from here to about here, it's exactly what the pattern calls for with size 2. So I did start to make some modifications. I did do some waist shaping. So I've got like a new favorite sweatshirt. My daughter bought me a sweatshirt for Christmas, and I really love it, like how it fits a little looser here and then kind of comes in a little bit in the waist. So I did kind of want to replicate that with the sweater. Like I wanted to make kind of like the perfect sweatshirt sweater. And so I did do some waist shaping. I want to say probably about 8 decrease rounds. I had kind of worked in, and just the regular decrease rounds where, you know, on the side where you knit 2 together, slip knit kind of after your marker. So I did that, yeah, probably about 7 or 8 times to give it just enough decrease. And then also modified the arms just a little bit. I did decrease a little bit more kind of towards the sleeves. It does call for a more like looser cuff. But other than that, yeah, follow the pattern pretty closely to it. And I really like this Raglan line where you kind of do your increases on both sides of it. So yeah, 10 out of 10, I would recommend the yarn, the pattern. It's a good fit and a mix for both. So I can definitely see me purchasing this yarn again for another type of project, or maybe even making another in a different color. And I would definitely use the pattern again. It was, you know, super easy to follow, and yeah, just a nice like classic sweater that I have. And I found myself reaching for this quite a bit. I've worn it probably 4 or 5 times since I finished it, and it took me just a little bit over 2 weeks. I want to say it was on my needles for like 16 or 17 days, so not too bad, but it was like my main focus and what I was working on a lot. So I'll tell you about my next finished object. Really, so far this month I've only had 2 finished objects, but I'm about to finish my 3rd, so I'll show you that. And if I get a little like marathon of knitting tonight, which I will, I'm determined. Even if I stay up really late, I'm gonna finish I'll tell you a little bit about it. But so the second finished object is my son's hat. Every year for my son's birthday, I do like to make him a hat. He wears his knitted hats a lot, so a little big on me. His head is bigger than mine, so I really love this hat. Oh, I need to probably make myself one in this color, but check it out. Yeah, it's a little loose on me, but this is the Essential Beanie pattern by Andrea Gaghan, and I've probably made maybe 7 or 8 of these hats. I really like the pattern, really easy, you know, knit 2, purl 2, and I really like the decreases and all of that too. So you can kind of see what the decreases look like on the top, but a very nice classic hat pattern. I think this might be the 3rd one that I've made my son, and he really likes it. So, and I use, the yarn that I used is, Gilliat yarn. I purchased that at McKinney Knittery also. The Gilliat Derurum yarn, and it's kind of like a worsted yarn. So, one other note about the pattern. So Andrea Gaghan's essential beanie pattern it's very versatile, because she gives you the pattern and then you can select by your gauge or the type of yarn, and it's kind of like you can cast on a different number of stitches depending on what size you want to make, or also like what's your gauge or what size yarn you have. So it's very versatile, which, you know, I think with a lot of patterns where you buy a pattern and they give you the pattern for DK, and then you end up buying like a worsted weight or an Aran weight or like heavier yarn, and then you either need to buy another pattern. So I think it's really great that it make sure that you can make it with a bunch of different gauges. So those are 2 of the things that I've finished recently. And next I want to jump into, so something I want to talk to you all like more regularly about is what I've been wearing, because I have really, like, in 2026, like, I want to wear my knits. Wearing my knits in 2026 is definitely like a theme for myself. I spend so much time, hard work, money, like all of that on knitting, and I want to like just make it my goal and really, really focus on trying to wear and style my my knit fits more, and tell you a little bit more about that. So I have worn my knitting probably, more days than I've worn knits, more days than I have not worn knits. So we've been pretty it's been cold here over the last month. I also did go and visit some family in Chicago too, so I was able to wear a lot of my knits. So I've definitely been wearing my knits a lot more. So I do want to feature, and I do want to tell you a little bit about, or, you know, I'll even try some of them on. So I'll try on and show you some of my knits that have been in my rotation and that I've been wearing, or just knits I want to chat with you about and feature. Because I think a lot of times in these podcasts, like the podcasters or us, we try to share with you like what we've recently finished, what we're wearing this day, but maybe don't get into as much like what we've been wearing. So I thought that would be fun to kind of feature and tell you a little bit more about what I've been wearing and maybe how I've been styling that. And also, so the first sweater that I've been wearing quite a bit is my Easy V. It's a pattern by Caitlin Hunter, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it, but I'll try it on for you too. So the Easy V is something I reach for a lot, and like, I kid you not, every time I wear it, I get so many compliments. Even like I wore it yesterday, even the fact that usually I'm like, oh, I made it, but sometimes I'm like, I can't say that every time everybody gives me a compliment. So not to sound like that, but seriously, the fit, it's probably one of my favorite finished objects, and I wear it a lot. I've probably worn it like 3 or 4 times this month, and every time I do, you know, it definitely gets a lot of attention and a lot of love. It has a very little bit of pilling, but not too much considering like how much I wear this. And I finished this, I think it was like 2023, or was it 2022? It's been a few years. I think a little over 3 years. Yeah, it's probably. And I wear it so much, and I just love the finished object for it. So yeah, the Easy V by Caitlin Hunter or Boylan Knitworks. And so the yarn I used is a combination of Sadness Garn Duo, and that's the main color, this kind of like goldy color. And then I used Brooklyn Tweed Dapple, which is no longer in production. Brooklyn Tweed is no longer selling yarn or wholesaling it out, but so it's definitely something I cherish. And So it's got this like color work motif on the sleeves, and then you know, across the chest, and it has this V, and I love it. I did try to make another one, but it was a really poor yarn choice. I did show it in like what I knit in 2025 if you want to get details on that, but it was a bust. I'm gonna have to fix it, and I'll probably fix it this year. But yeah, would highly recommend, definitely a 10 out of 10 for, you know, pattern, yarn, and all of that. I'm sure you can substitute with a different type of yarn, but yeah, I just really love this finished object and something I reach for often. And so something else that I wore this month that I do put into rotation, especially the colder, like winter months, is this, what is it called? The wildflower. Oh, I always want to call it wildfire. Willowbranch, this Willowbranch blouse. I think it's a blouse. It's a design by Tif Neilan, and it is so beautiful. I'm pretty sure it calls for like a worsted weight yarn, and I did it a little bit differently than what the pattern was calling for. I had held DK with a like a lace weight yarn, and it's just so beautiful. If I remember, which I use the Dorura Natura Penelope, I think so, for the main color, and then I held it with what is that called? It'll come to me. But yeah, a really pretty lace weight yarn. I think, Magpie, their lace weight yarn, and it's just, yeah, so beautiful. It has a really pretty halo. I love this like design motif with the Willowbranch. Yeah, designed by Tif Neilan. I knit this 2 years ago. Yeah, it was January of 2024. I remember taking a trip with my son and working on it a lot. And yeah, it's stunning. It's beautiful. I feel like it feels like kind of like an upper scale blouse. I really like just this elevated look of it. Yeah, it's a very beautiful blouse. Yeah, and there's kind of the fit. So the sleeves, in reality, I ran out of yarn, but it's okay. Like, I made it kind of like this elevated blouse, and it does fit kind of fine. I wanted the body length to be like long and not super cropped, so I gave most of my yarn to the body length, and yeah, cut the sleeves a little bit short. But yeah, this bracelet length, I feel, well, like, you know, wear bracelets and jewelry and all of that, but I really love it. It's a beautiful blouse and something that I reach for at least a few times a year. Because of the mohair, does feel a little bit heavier, so I do tend to wear this more like in the wintry time, because of kind of the heaviness of it. So really pretty. I can definitely see myself making another Willowbranch sweater by Tif Neilan. And then another project, or another finished object that I've been reaching for and wearing often, and actually I do wear this a lot, the Easy Peasy Cardigan, and I don't remember who it was, but Norad Knits or something like that, but there's a link in my Ravelry of all of my designs. But a really kind of simple cardigan that I do reach for and wear a lot. Nordicstar yarns, they were at DFW Fiberfest, and I picked up this yarn in 2024 and made this right away. I want to say it was done within like a week or two after Fiberfest, and you could just see like the fit is so good. I held 2 strands together of their like mohair, and it's just so gorgeous. It's like a silk mohair, if I remember right, or was it silk and alpaca? But anyway, Nordicstar yarns. It's just so soft. I just love how like shocking and purple, but almost like a neon purple this color is. And yeah, I get a lot of compliments on the color of it when I wear it, but I really love this cardigan. It's something that I reach for pretty often. And then the last featured, and I've worn many more knits than this. These aren't the only knits that I've worn, but I figured we don't want to go through like every single day of what I've worn and all of that. But the next one that I wore, I'll tell you a little bit about this one. It's the CP05 V-neck. It's a design by Mini Me Knit Designs, and I've knit many of her patterns. I've tested a few of them, but I've also purchased and made many of her patterns too. But so for this one, the CP05 cardigan, it's a v-neck sweater, and I used 2 strands of the Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in this gorgeous pink color. I don't remember the name of the color, but I'm sure you can find it pretty easily. And oh, it's so beautiful. I feel like it's a very like dressy blouse. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but the haze of the mohair, I do feel like it gives it a very elevated look. When it was my son's birthday, when I gave him the hat, we had went out for dinner at a nice restaurant. I wore this with a nice pair of like dress slacks, and yeah, it's so pretty. So something that I do reach for and kind of share and save for those special occasions. So yes, I've knitted or I do wear my knits quite a bit. I've also have worn, many hats, accessories, a couple of pairs of knitted socks. Those Chicago Bears socks that I was working on last year, I did wear those a couple times when the Bears were doing really good in January. So yeah, it's been kind of fun being able to challenge myself to wear my knits more. So I'll continue to keep you all updated and share that. Okay, so I am so excited to tell you about what I have been working on. So I've got 2 projects. One of them I'll be done with today. So every year for my daughter's birthday, I knit her a cardigan, and I've knit her 3 so far. Let me see, like 2 whites, a pink, I think 4. So far I've knit her a few cardigans, and this year she sent me kind of a sample photo of a cardigan that she liked the look of, and I'll insert the picture of it. It was just a store-bought cardigan that she liked, even just like the color vibe. And so we did some exploring, some yarn shopping, and I'll tell you a little bit about the yarn that we're using. So I'll start there, because I'll talk to you more about acquisitions too. But so I'm holding together these 2 yarns. And so I have this Ella Rae Color Magic yarn. I picked this up from On the Lamb Yarn Shop. It's a local to us yarn store. It's in Grapevine, Texas. And I picked up 3 skeins of this. It calls for, 460 yards. It's a superwash wool. It does have some nylon in it too, 75% superwash wool, but I love like the color change aspect of it. My daughter really saw it and kind of saw a sample of what it looked like knitting, and so I think it was a different color set, but thought this would work well with held with a mohair. And so this is La Mana Premia mohair in the color Bordeaux, and I picked this up from Knit Dallas. So holding these 2 together, I just kind of pictured in my mind how it would work. I did knit up a swatch, which I don't have my swatch here somewhere, but yeah, so I showed her a swatch of just these 2 together, and then another one where I held it together with a different yarn that was a little bit thicker. And then of course she liked the thinner one. So it's been a little bit of a labor of love, but she's worth it. She loves what I make her and the cardigans and all of that. So let me show you where we are at so far. And maybe I'll just try it on for you so you can see, because it's you hold together this cardigan and it just doesn't look like a cardigan. Well, yeah, maybe it does. Okay, so I really like, so this is a step-by-step cardigan by Florence Miller. And you know what, if you are going to knit somebody a cardigan and it has a double knit button band, you must really love them. And I do love my daughter. But the double knit button band, I mean, you can see every row you're double knitting it. So 2, front and back. A double knitted button band is a labor of love, but she's worth it. I know she'll wear it a lot. She also does not like buttons. So yeah, you do all that work for a button band, and she doesn't like buttons, but she likes the way her cardigans lay flat, but has never liked buttons. None of the cardigans that I've made her has she wanted buttons on them. So that's that. But you know what, she's got a much shorter torso than me. We're very similar in size, but she does have a much shorter torso than me. But I'll try it on so you can see. But so when you see it, it's going to look pretty short. But yeah, her torso is probably 2 inches shorter than mine. And so I know I've got a bunch of yarns like all tangled in here, so let me just figure out how to get this on without tangling the yarn up so much. But wait, no, this way. Whew, okay. So check out like how the yarn self stripes. So I'll stand up. I hope I'm not tangling this thing up too much, but yeah, it self stripes. It's so beautiful and stunning. The button band, all of that. So I should be able to, you know, finish this up tonight. Not too much left, but it's gorgeous. It is stunning. I kind of want one for myself, but yeah, her birthday is like in another 3 weeks, but yeah, I'll give it to her early once I finish it up because she just cannot wait to start wearing it. So it'll be, yeah, Step by Step Cardigan by Florence Miller. Not too tough of a project. I mean, I do feel like a beginner can make the Step by Step cardigan, and I know that there are videos too for the cardigan that she provides where she kind of shows you in doing some of the more complicated steps. You know, as an experienced knitter, I don't need those as much, but yeah, I really like it. So the only thing that, so I tend to do this, I'm just a little bit extra when I am making something with self-stripe yarn and it has sleeves. I do a little yarn management, and it's just me kind of being picky. So, you know, I make the cardigan, the body of it as is, and then I do find myself having to break the yarn in a couple spots because I'm trying to like somewhat match up the colors in the sleeves, because if you don't break up the yarn, then your color changes are much longer because the circumference of the sleeve are smaller. And yeah, it's more of a personal choice. It's not something you have to do, but I don't prefer when you see other garments where it's color changing and then the body has smaller stripes, but then the sleeves has like really thick stripes. I don't know. It's a preference and it takes some work. So then you end up with a bunch of these, you know, I've got a bunch of these like little balls everywhere, and I'm kind of managing what's left, but it's okay. Like it's worth it. So I think because of how short I've made it, I'm probably gonna end up with having these two skeins left, but maybe I'll make a little accessory for myself with it because I do really like the way that this is color changing and all of that. I mean, yeah, maybe I could do one of those like Sophie kind of scarves or something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna think about that since I'm gonna have enough left to do something else with. So yeah, Step by Step cardigan and a project for my daughter. So I cannot wait to gift that to her. So what else have I been knitting? Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'll just leave this on for now. I might get all mixed up and tangled. It may be a decision choice later, but so this is my main project and something that I've been knitting on the side and working on too. And you all may have heard about this, but the Melt the Ice hat. So I did buy the Melt the Ice, like the official pattern from the yarn store in Minnesota that is kind of locally donating to their aid organization. So I did buy their pattern, but I did decide to switch it up a little bit. Like I think for making all of those Andrea Gaghan essential beanies, like I really like the way the 2x2 brim looks like on hats. So what I am going to do is, yeah, kind of do like a folded brim here and then kind of work on the decreases next. So I'm just to the point, this is a hat for me. I'm just to the point where I'm going to switch up and start on like kind of the body of the hat. So I am using Malabrigo Rios in the color Ravelry Red, and I love how it's coming out. I mean, I just like Ravelry Red knitted up is so stunning. It's so pretty. It has just a lot of like color and dimension. So this should be done fairly quickly. So I do want to work on, yeah, today. Today, I'm gonna finish it up tonight. So Olivia sweater, and then I'll work on this. So next I want to tell you, oh yeah, you know what? I am going to show you a couple other things. So I'm not gonna go too far into this, but I did also sew a couple bags, able to get a lot more crafting time in. So I did make 2 project bags, and I really love this. Just, what do we call this? Oh, I don't remember what the bag shape is called, but where one side is shorter than the other, and you kind of, yeah, put it in there, and then it's just easy to kind of carry around and whether knit while you're walking around. I kind of put this on the side of the treadmill if I'm making something really easy, or if I'm walking around with it's called a dumpling bag. So this is my first one. This is the one I have the hat in. I feel like I could put maybe like 1 skein projects in here. And then, so I thought, oh, let me make a bigger one. So for sweaters and all of that. And the idea of it was good. I used this, I'll show you, like I quilted this fabric. I don't know if you can kind of see the quilt lines, but, and it was my first time also sewing like pockets inside of a bag. I think I did a really good job on that, but okay, let me actually share this with you. So I ended up taking off the sweater because the sweater was kind of attached to the bag. So I'll share this with you. So this is a bag that I made and I really, really like it. The second bag that I sewed, but yeah, the shape just is a little bit off. It's a little bit too long. Kind of a mishap with sewing. I mean, I think that's how you learn, whether you're sewing or knitting. Even your mistakes can be happy mistakes. That's how you learn. So it is kind of like, yeah, this hot dog shape, but that's okay. I really like it as something I can carry around. I like the shape kind of this dumpling bag and just can, yeah, carry it around. And it's something that I will love. And I especially like love those pockets and all of that. So wanted to share that with you, and I'll keep you updated with some of my like knitting related sewing things that I make. But I did have to drop my sewing machine off at the shop. I'm not sure what I did to it. I did a little something, still beginnerish, but I'm figuring it out. Okay, so next I want to talk to you about acquisitions and some of the things that I purchased. So I did, well, this was something that I did purchase for my daughter. And then I did, a couple weeks ago, I went to the Chicago area to go visit some family. I visited my sister, and I could not go there without stopping at Wool & Company. So some of you may know about Wool & Company, and you know, a lot of people like do shop from their online since they have fair prices, free shipping, and will even like wind some yarn. But so it's somewhere that I've purchased yarn from, but I do like to go to the physical store. It's huge. It's like a giant warehouse, but pretty and cute. It's a yarn store that's in this like huge warehouse building, and it's beautiful. I'll insert a little like B-roll so you can see that. And yeah, I had about 90 minutes to spend there before I had to catch my flight. And it, you know, I just really, really enjoyed the way the store is laid out, the different yarn brands by weight, the texture, a lot of the brands that they have, the colors, like I love all of that. They do have a lot of samples that are knitted up that they have out, and also a lot of patterns and books. I could like get lost looking at so much like fantasy knitting, what I'm thinking about making, a lot of like, you know, knitting supplies and all of that, and just the warmness, openness, they're so friendly. And I always like supporting a local yarn store and coming home with like a little bit of souvenir yarn. But I do feel like I made a really responsible choice when I went there. So I'll tell you a little bit about the yarn that I picked up. I did pick up this Blue Sky Fibers Prairie yarn, and this is, Prairie yarn is 53% Surrey alpaca and then 47% baby Hucaya alpaca. It's so soft to the touch. So when I went to New York with my daughter, I had already picked up 3 skeins of this. And when I was kind of looking up patterns, I didn't feel like there was enough yarn that I had to be able to make what I wanted to make. So a very responsible choice to get 1 more skein to add with the other yarn that I had so I can make something a little bit bigger that would fit me a little bit better. And so the next thing I made, another responsible yarn choice, is this Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair. And soft silk mohair, that's the same yarn that I use for my CPO 5 v-neck. And this soft silk mohair is in the color of marzipan, and it's 70% mohair and 30% cruelty-free silk. It's soft. I really like it, and I'll tell you a little bit about what I want to hold it with. So when that same New York trip I was just discussing, my daughter and I went, I picked up, or actually my daughter gifted this to me for my birthday, this Daylight's American Cormo by Harrisville Designs, and I thought I can hold this marzipan knitting for Olive with this, and it would just create just such a beautiful texture. And I've already swatched it up. And so this was gonna be my next project. And it won't, but I'm gonna make it really quickly and really soon because I do love it, and I appreciate that my daughter got me this yarn. So I've already swatched up these two held together, the marzipan and the cormo, and I really like the texture of this. So it's either like a 15 or a 16 gauge for this 4-inch swatch. And I've got narrowed down to a few patterns. I really need to kind of sit with it. Actually, I want to like go through my closet and kind of see what I already have, maybe what I'm missing. So I definitely don't want to do another classic raglan since I have this already. I'm thinking maybe a cardigan. I do have like a cream colored cardigan, but it's open and I don't seem to wear it a lot. Like it's a very, very open cardigan, and I don't love the texture of it that much. Like I wear it, but it's not something I reach for. That's my favorite. So I probably could use another, maybe like a simple cream colored cardigan. It's something that I reach for and wear a lot. So that's kind of on the top of my list, but okay. So those are my two, those are my acquisitions. My only other, my knitting acquisitions, and I've got one more to share with you, but I also have purchased some fabric. I'm like, yeah, I mean, this isn't like a fabric podcast, so I'm not going to go over the details of all of those fabrics, but I have picked up some fabric because, yeah, I definitely wanted to sew more. But I'll tell you a little bit about that, or, you know, maybe in a future video, I'll kind of feature some of the things that I'm sewing, and it'll be kind of at the end. So for those of you that are interested in that, wouldn't need to watch that. Okay, so the other thing I want to show you that I picked up because I just did it today. So we have a newer to us local yarn store here in the city that I live, and I had not visited yet. Once I heard about it, it was like right before Christmas, and you know, at that time I just did not want to go to a yarn store and be tempted to buy a lot and cast something on because I already knew I had some projects that I wanted to finish. So I hadn't gone yet, but you know, the last week for a lot of our local small businesses have been pretty rough, especially here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, since like the infrastructure in our area isn't really set up for the type of weather that we've had. We've had many days of like weather in like the teens and single digits and 20s, and so it's been so cold, and then we had a lot of like ice and snow out on the roads, so many businesses were closed for like 4 to 5 days. And so I know that can be hard on a local small business, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go and support a local business. And that's what, you know, we've been trying to get like coffee from little coffee shops, like food, we've gone out to eat like food from little local places. So just something I think it's important to like give back to the community, especially in tough times like this. So long story short, I decided to go to this yarn store, and it is called Yarn Therapy, and adorable little yarn shop. A lot of, you know, like different yarn brands that some of the other local yarn stores in the Dallas-Fort Worth area don't seem to feature and have. The owner had shared that they are a flagship store for Rowan, and they had a lot of Rowan yarns, and she had a lot of samples there. I think they had like a trunk show going on where they had a lot of samples. So much beautiful yarn. And so what I picked up is this Alpaca Sparkle by Rowan, and it might be hard to see, but I'm kind of gonna put it close. It has a little bit of sequins, and it's just like this like feathery soft, and this might be a little ambitious, but I want to make myself something for Valentine's Day, and I know it's only like 2 weeks away, but I could do it. I got it. So I did purchase 6 skeins of this, which is just a little over 600 yards. So I can knit up 600 yards before Valentine's Day pretty quickly, I think. I haven't narrowed it down to what I'm going to do. So I want to swatch tonight. I know I had a lot I want to do tonight. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to swatch that tonight. I'm going to finish my daughter's sleeve and then I'm going to block it. So I immediately weave in my ends and block, like immediately, because I don't know, like I feel like it's going to go bad if I don't. I don't know. It's just me. I do it. And so I will, yeah, that'll be my first priority. I'll do that first before I swatch, because in case, yeah, I'll do that. So I'll keep you all updated on how those projects go, because my priority is daughter's sweater, Valentine, and then I'm gonna like figure out what I'm going to make with this item. I also am gonna work on my melt the ice hat. So a lot going on. And then the next thing I'm gonna do, I'll give you like a little sneak peek of the next video that I think I want to film. So I spent a lot of time in January organizing my yarn and making some decisions on what I want to make this year. So I have a lot of multiple skeins. So I did this kind of project where I laid out all of my multiple skeins of yarn, and then went through a lot of my favorites, went through a lot of projects that have been in my queue or that I'm interested in making, and then kind of organized and put everything into like either the big yarn bag or for some like a smaller bag, and have a project in mind, a project in my queue. So I think I'm gonna do another video to tell you a little bit more about that and show some of the projects that I want to make with the yarn that I have. And so especially, you know, I don't always have to buy yarn. And I mean, yeah, I do like it and I will continue to buy yarn, but I also want to mix in at least like, I can buy yarn, but maybe make 2 or 3 projects in a row with some yarn that I already have in the stash, and then buy something. So I kind of want to switch up with knitting from the project and yarn that I already kind of have in mind. And I also have a lot of patterns already that I purchased over the years. So I do want to do a little bit more of that, and, you know, a little more sustainable, responsible. But I also, you know, I do like supporting local yarn stores and supporting yarn knitting designers too. So I'll continue to sprinkle that in, but just trying to be like a little bit more responsible with what I already have. So hold me to that. I'll be making another video on that. So I'll end with kind of tell you a little bit about what else I've been into besides, you know, knitting and making and that little bit of sewing. And so if that doesn't interest you, yeah, then it's been great chatting with you. But I'll tell you about a couple books that I've been reading. And so I'm not going to go too much into detail, but a couple books that I finished, at least in January. I read My Friends by Frederick Bachman. And it was a beautiful book. I loved it. I really cherished it. Just a beautiful story of just, you know, friendship and love and, you know, arts. And I just, yeah, it held a special place in my heart. It was recommended for my daughter. She really loved the book. It was like one of her, she read like 250 books or something crazy like that last year. And that was like one of her, that was in her top 10. And then also I read The Correspondent, a book by Virginia Evans, and that book, I loved it. It made me want to just get in touch with like handwriting, letters, thank you cards, things like that. But my writing is atrocious too. It's really bad. Like I jotted down some notes for the video today, and I can hardly read my own writing, but anyway, The Correspondent, the book was so beautiful, yeah, by Virginia Evans, and I really cherished that and loved that book too. And I am just about finished. I've got less than an hour left. And so I say reading because I do feel like it's reading, but I do listen to the Audible or audiobook versions of it, and it's my favorite way because I can knit and listen to the audiobook at the same time. So you know, I'm gonna keep saying reading, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingston. And is that how you say it? Is it Kingston? Yeah, again, I can't read my own writing. But the book, oh my goodness, it is such a good book. I found, and I should put the appropriate site on it, but I don't know. It was like, I think maybe it might have been Times, but the top 100 books of the last 25 years. And I want to like read a majority of them. Like I want to say I've probably read about 12 to 15 of them already, but I feel like it was a good goal of mine just to start reading more of those. And this was the #1 book out of the top 100 books of the last 25 years. So Demon Copperhead, I can see why it was the top one. It's good. Yeah, the last hour left. I'll kind of finish that up tonight. TV wise, my husband and I I think we're all caught up on Landman. That's something that we watched together. That's been really good. And then, Bridgerton. Bridgerton just came out. Was that yesterday? And I think I'm like halfway through the third episode. Why do they only release like 4 episodes at a time? But oh, it's so beautiful, so good. And yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it and talk about it, but yeah, I know it's probably not everybody's favorite, but I don't know, just the whimsical, the beauty, like I love it. So yeah, that's kind of some of the media that I've been catching up on. I also spent a lot of time watching football through January. Many of you know, a Chicago Bears fan, they had a really great season. While they didn't pull through to the end, still supportive of them. So yeah, spent a lot of time watching football, but all right, well, it's been so good catching up with you. I felt like I had so much to catch you up on with, everything that I've been knitting, wearing, making, and all of that. But if you have other ideas and things that you want me to feature and talk about, and I will try not to go a whole nother month without releasing a video, but it's been so good catching up. Thank you.